Welcome back to Yusuf Reacts, everyone. Today, we're diving deep into one of the coolest alien fighting, time-bending films out there, Men in Black 3. Released in 2012, this third installment brought back Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, and introduced us to a new side of the Men in Black universe. Buckle up, because we're about to go on a time travel adventure filled with crazy aliens, some emotional moments, and plenty of action. Let's get started. So, what's the story this time? Well, we pick up years after the events of Men in Black 2. Agent J, played by Will Smith, is still doing his thing, handling extraterrestrial threats on Earth. But something's off with Agent K, played by Tommy Lee Jones. He's distant, grumpy, and seems to be hiding something. And then bam, we get into the thick of it when an old enemy of Boris the animal escapes from a maximum security lunar prison. Boris, brilliantly played by Jermaine Clement, is out for revenge, and he's not messing around. Now, here's where things get wild. Boris jumps back in time to 1969 to kill the younger Agent K and erase him from history. This means Agent J has to follow him back in time to save his partner. And guys, this is where we meet Josh Brolin as young Agent K. Honestly, Brolin's performance in Chef's Kiss nails Tommy Lee Jones' mannerisms perfectly. Let's talk about the time travel aspect, which really sets Men in Black 3 apart from the first two films. When Jay goes back to 1969, the movie takes on this retro vibe that's super fun to watch. From the old-school Men in Black headquarters to 60s fashion, they went all out with the nostalgic details. Plus, we see how the agency operated in the past. It's cool seeing how they dealt with aliens in that era. There are also some hilarious moments with Jay trying to adjust to the 60s. Remember that scene where he tries to explain how racial profiling works to the cops? Yeah, not great. Let's take a moment to appreciate the performances. Will Smith, as always, brings his charm, humor, and action star energy to Agent J. Tommy Lee Jones, although he has less screen time in this film, delivers a solid performance as the older, worn-out Agent K. But really, Josh Brolin is the star of the show as young K. It's so impressive how he mimics Tommy Lee Jones' speech patterns, tone, and body language. It feels like we're watching the same character at two different points in time. Then, there's Jermaine Clement as Boris. He's terrifying, but also has that campy villain vibe. His design is super cool too, spiky armor, mechanical arm, and those creepy eyes. Another highlight is the introduction of Griffin, played by Michael Stuhlbarg. Griffin's a lovable, slightly anxious alien who can see all possible futures at once. He plays a key role in helping J and K stop Boris, but he also adds some heart to the story. Without giving too much away, Griffin's involvement leads to a major emotional twist in the final act that'll hit you right in the feels. The twist at the end really took me by surprise. We learn a shocking secret about Jay's past and his connection to K, which adds so much more depth to their relationship. And I have to admit, it got me a little teary-eyed. You can't talk about a Men in Black movie without mentioning the special effects. Once again, the film's alien designs are incredible, from tiny, funny creatures to gigantic, menacing monsters. The action sequences are fast-paced, and the visual effects still hold up really well, even a decade later. One of my favorite action moments is the final showdown at Cape Canaveral during the Apollo 11 launch. The whole sequence has tension, heart, and some epic fight choreography. Plus, the stakes couldn't be higher. Agent J travels in time to MIB's early days in 1969 to stop an alien from assassinating his friend Agent K and changing history. After breaking out of Lunar Max, a moon-based maximum security prison, Boris the animal Jermaine Clement decides to go back in time and eliminate the person who arrested him, Agent K. Josh Brolin. When he does so, Agent J. Will Smith realizes that the timeline has been changed and he travels back to July 15, 1969, the day before Agent K is killed. After overcoming some disbelief, Jay manages to convince young K and others of just who he is and why he's there. With the help of Griffin Michael Stuhlbarg, a being who can see all timelines, they track Boris down. Jay also learns a secret, something old Agent K Tommy Lee Jones had never told him. Boris the animal, last surviving member of the predatory Boglodite race, escapes from the inescapable Lunarmax prison on Earth's moon, intent on going back in time to kill Agent K. Tommy Lee Jones, who on July 16, 1969, caused the loss of one of Boris' arms and arrested him. On Earth, K learns of the escape after investigating a spaceship crash in the New York City streets and a Chinese restaurant teeming with alien life. While K won't reveal any details to Agent J. Will Smith, he confesses his regret at not having killed Boris in 1969. Meanwhile, Boris has reached Earth and attacks the son, Jeffrey Price, of the fellow inmate for a device that will allow him to travel back in time and kill K before he took away his arm. Boris arrives at that restaurant as it has his favorite dish and attacks J and K. Both escape, but not before Boris tells K that he is already dead. K is very afraid. Late that night, when the two agents are in their respective apartments, K calls J seemingly to tell all but remains silent, and J hangs up on him. K then makes preparation for an ambush and sets to wait when all traces of him and his apartment disappear. The next morning, J goes to talk with K and discovers the world is different. At MIB headquarters, J learns that all other MIB personnel remember K as having been killed in action in the year 1969. Agent, though Emma Thompson, the new chief after Zed's passing, deduces from J's insistence of his reality and knowledge of details about Agent K that a fracture has occurred in the space-time continuum. She deduces Boris' time jump to 1969, knowledge of time travel having been restricted to prevent such an occurrence, and killed K, resulting in a different future reality and an imminent Bogladite invasion of Earth, now vulnerable due to the absence of the protective Arcnet which, in J's version of reality, K had installed in 1969. Through electronics shop owner Jeffrey Price, J acquires the same time jump mechanism as Boris. But his query about how he can remember K when nobody else can merely results in Jeffrey informing him that he must have been there. J's plan is to arrive on July 15, then and kill the younger Boris, so that the elder Boris, who went back to kill K, won't even exist. As the doomed Earth is being invaded, J jumps off the Chrysler building to reach time travel velocity, and arrives in 1969, the day before Boris, supposed to kill K, with some inevitable challenges upon his arrival, including his lack of resources and his skin color. J goes to Coney Island to intercept Boris while he is there to commit a historically recorded murder. Turns out the younger Boris was at Coney Island to find Griffin, the creator of the Arcnet, which is a device that can save Earth from a Bogladian invasion. But a 29-year-old Agent K. Josh Brolin interrupts and arrests J after fruitless questioning at MIB headquarters because J had been advised not to interact with the young agent. K has J placed inside a large neuralizer. At the last second, after J confesses the truth of his mission, K aborts the procedure. As a wary team, they follow clues of Boris' trail to a bowling alley, then to Andy Warhol's factory, where they meet the prescient alien Griffin, who occupies 5 dimensions and possesses the Arcnet. Griffin tells them the Bogladites destroyed his planet, and that he does not wish the Earth to suffer the same fate. Griffin then warns the 2 agents of Boris' impending arrival with the intent to kill him, and leaves just before Boris arrives. Agent K narrowly escapes his own demise at the hands of Boris. The elder Boris arrives, meeting up with his younger self, and both agree to get the Arcnet and kill K so that the invasion will be imminent. The agents later locate Griffin at Shea Stadium, where he gives them the Arcnet and instructs K has to be placed onto the Apollo 11 lunar rocket launch occurring in less than 6 hours in Cape Canaveral, Florida. Boris arrives and snatches Griffin, and the agents pursue to rescue him from a certain fate. Upon arriving at Cape Canaveral, the agents and Griffin are arrested by military police. A colonel, however, allows them to continue their mission after Griffin uses his precognitive power to show the colonel how important the agents are. At the launch pad, J and K confront both the 1969 and 2012 incarnations of Boris, and the battle ensues on the rocket's scaffolding as the ignition blast-off counts down. The elder Boris impales J with his spikes before they both fall off the pad. However, J uses the time jump to travel back to the beginning of the fight and avoid the spikes before pushing the elder Boris off the scaffolding, falling to the pad below. Meanwhile, as K battles the younger Boris, he disconnects a hose, causing it to spray liquid hydrogen on Boris' left arm. freezing it and causing it to shatter. K then plants the Arcnet on the top of the rocket in the last seconds before blast-off. The elder Boris is incinerated to death in the blast-off, and the protective shield deploys as the rocket leaves Earth's atmosphere. The Colonel congratulates K returning from the launch pad. As Jay watches from the distance, the younger Boris surprises them and kills the Colonel. The younger Boris tries to goad K into arresting him, but the junior agent instead shoots the young Boris this time, killing him. A young boy named James exits a military vehicle looking for his father, who happens to be the Colonel. He pulls out a pocket watch revealed earlier to have been passed down to Agent J by his father. And Jay realizes that the young boy is actually his younger self, explaining Jeffrey's revelation that he was there. He was present when Boris altered history by killing K. Unwilling to reveal his father's death, K neuralizes James, telling him his father is a hero. It was then Jay realized why K wouldn't tell him about why he regretted arresting Boris in the first place. With the timeline restored, Jay returns to the present day, where he meets his partner at a diner. There, he shows Kate his father's pocket watch and thanks him. As they leave the diner, Griffin, a few seats away, tells the viewers all is well with the world, except for an imminent asteroid impact on Earth. If this is the timeline where K forgot to leave a tip. But when K returns to leave his tip, the asteroid collides with an orbiting satellite instead of the Earth. Thus it is safe for now. Overall, Men in Black 3 is a solid return to the franchise. It's funny, it's heartwarming, and it has some great sci-fi action. It might not hit the same highs as the original, but it stands out, with its time travel twist and the performance by Josh Brolin as young K. In giving this one a solid 8 out of 10. What did you think of Men in Black 3? Did the ending get you emotional too? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more movie breakdowns and reviews. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.